Morning from Falcon's Frontier, ready for another adventure. With Jarrett Newton, once more as we discover the verse. We're going to continue on to Pyro 4 this time with our C1 Spirit and our hoverquad. And perhaps do some tasking, as absorbing the ambience and just experiencing the journey. This is particularly different as we're going to explore Pyro 4 more, as they say, picturesque space, both with the Azure seas and distant landscapes. So we're going to capture what we can over in Pyro 4. We'll have a 10 to 15 minute segment of pure silence as we coast to the hoverquad across those Azure seas. So, it's musings and let's get underway. See if we can exit our humble habitation here in Hatch City.
Quantum travel complete.
So, cooling nearly complete. Calibrate and head to Pyro 4.
Quantum travel engaged.
The accessibility of the quantum drive. And that's not including all the additional upgrades one can do to the Pyro or to the ship itself. Greeted by this
Quantum travel complete.
a unique and spectacular environment. Well, I think what we can do, we've also got points of interest, but that will obviously help with the hauling. Data centers. I think what we can do is a huge, and that's actually a larger body of water compared to Pyro. So what we can do is see if we can set about heading down to small, just want to coast across, so let's set the target down and through. You can really see the true spectacular ambience of Pyro 4, especially the kind of sceneries that we're going to be treated with. Could this be another Microtech moment? We also have Bloom to explore. So we have yet to see Bloom itself, another spectacular planet. As we journey on down in anticipation and growing exponentially as we configure the systems, ensure that we turn the QT off, deploy the gear, make for a comfortable touchdown on this small outcrop, this small island in the small peninsula here, and then take the hoverquad. Do a bit of an epic journey. There's just all water there, so we want to be able to. There's no worry in getting lost. We genuinely have got a spectacular variation in both land masses, coloration, and these huge azure seas. That's one very large sea, so we're going to go down once more. The added effect, the clouds casting shadows on the planet's surface. I do hope we're able to land on this small area here. Let's just try and see. It's pure sea outbound from there, so if we try to head over, make landfall, provide us with a reasonably good journey out. And risk of getting lost with the system, as with the in the previous session we had a marker that decided to go 37 gigameters out. Let's turn off systems, G-lock imminent. Let's journey on down quiet solitude. Making sure that we get through the clouds again. Again, a spectacular offering of both planets that are in this case quite mountainous, but offering an exceptionally impressive color palette with reds and areas in both. Not sure of the temperature, but let's journey on down and see what we can see. And hopefully we'll be treated to a sunset. Should be spectacular. Let's head on here again, very different area. We have succulent plants, more so trying to cope with the temperatures. We're not sure of the temperatures actually. Let's deploy the gear. Being treated by this mix of both landscape that is full of sparse flora, succulent flora, those plants trying to retain whatever water they can in order to survive. Let's see if we balance ourselves. Unfortunately, no camera, so let's orientate ourselves in alignment with the planetary surface and hope for a comfortable touchdown. And there we have, touching down, Pyro 4. Now the C1 Spirit. Let's turn the engines off, make sure we anchor ourselves. Not sure about the gravity. Let's turn the systems off.
Systems off.
There, Armstrong moment here on the surface of Pyro, awaiting to greet us as we journey as an intrepid explorer, at least from Vulcan's Frontier's perspective. Stu, also important, Armstrong moment. What's immediately striking, and there we have these Azure seas, but I think the angle is not good actually. Let's change our angle and land on a flatter surface. We don't want to conflict, such as the reality of the verse. Let's go ahead and enable the systems. Try and find a flatter area. We don't want to land too far away from our designated location, respective taking the hover quad. We do want to make sure that we land. Don't have any mistakes. Mistakes, no one goes home. There we have. Journey down. Turn So the system off. So this should be okay. Let's re-attempt that Armstrong mode. Or as a classic thing, the sleek lines here in the Crusader ship. One is immediately struck by the, again, the succulent plants, the varying degrees of pockets, flora in and around here. C1. There, and you have the impressive, certainly quite different from Pyro, much richer in terms of its plant life, in terms of its flora scattered around sparsely or in small pockets in around the surface. But again, spectacular. Both the cloud, the cobalt blue hue as this light is diffused, and obviously the azure seas that await us. We'll try and practice moments of silence. Silent instances was a critical, quintessential part of Vulcan's frontier. It does feel cozy Amura, cozy Ikiagi moments. But as we can see, let's journey on through. Retrieve our hover quad. We might be in for a nightscape journey into, across and through the surface. That enabled. Let's back off with no risk of losing the C1. As we know, we can just journey on out. Oh, very impressive. We have systems, dynamic systems, and we have rain. A spectacular addition to some of the dynamic systems. First time for seeing the rain. Very short summer shower, as it were. I'm sure our C1 will be quite happy if we leave it. So let's point the hover quad to the shore. Another striking aspect of Pyro 4 is this diversity in both the flora, the mountains, the landscapes, and a brighter planet compared to very more neutral and certainly picturesque part of the collection of planets around Pyro 5. But there is the, so much like Pyro, this time we'll have a moment.
All systems operational.
So what we'll do now is we'll head on out, get to the shore, and cast ourselves out for a deep reflection, the moment of silence. So with that, this Frontier will be back with you momentarily. I do hope you enjoy the ride. but again, it looks like we're entering into the light phase, a spectacular moment. Let's head back. If we're able to achieve a faster speed under QT 19. Doesn't look like we're able to achieve faster speeds. So let's head back. Yes, the speed limiter we can adjust. Truly spectacular demonstration. Moments of wondrous ambience. Pyro shining down, fighting this Azure. This Pyro 4 definitely affords itself further exploration, especially if we couple it with some tasking. Doing some hauling in a humble hoverquad, a C1. We'll acquire the cargo manipulator, a larger variant. Let's see if we can, for Azure Crimson Seas, much like our experiences on Pyro. Real spectacular moment as we can see the sea rushing beneath us. This is a real demonstration of spectacular environments. Let's reduce our speed. Our C1 is waiting for us. Again, we're watching the emergence, the transition, light, daylight to night. Pyro 4 rotates. A really interesting exercise to do a nightscape journey out and across. Pyro 4, we may need to return back to the station to refuel a hoverquad, and that's just simply storing the hoverquad. I wonder if in fact we're able to fuel a hoverquad as well as the C1 near a station. Be particularly useful. But there, the reassuring sight of our C1 that we'd lost, but the fact that we have it on this isolated island has allowed us to successfully find it.
Hydrogen fuel running low.
Just when the spectacular lights of the C1 Spirit, a singular beacon of solace amongst the enveloping dark. If we had more hydrogen fuel, we'd definitely cast ourselves out to the infinite horizon. The clouds reflected in the distance, choosing a spot and simply just trying to dart, weave a space in between clouds and their reflection as we journey on the seas. Spectacular, infinite horizon, weaving between reflected reality and the spectacular azure, white, crimson light as we turn daylight into night here on the surface of Pyro 4. Was that a Mura moment, that Ikagi moment? Let's park the hover quad in the C1 that's waiting for us, and then have a wander and just watch the emergence of night. Watch daylight give way to the night. All we could see in the distance would be the lights of the C1. Another moment of pure silence. Well, that was a spectacular journey. Out into the distance.
Engine systems disabled. Landing complete. All systems disabled.
Disembark. And really get a sense now. There's a very goosebumpy moment at this instance. Was the vibrant red, the C1, was seated there. Reflective lights, the warning lights, indication lights, proximity lights on the C1. Really giving off a vibrancy as we're going to experience, I think, a true level of the light levels going to diminish somewhat. Here, the water's edge. Let's get to the water's edge in this dark phase. Really get a sense of the clouds being reflected. Journeying to the water's edge. Especially the blue lights on the C1 becoming ever more apparent. As light makes its way, dissipates gradually, and hands over care of the daylight. And hands the planet, one side of the planet momentarily to the care of this silent night. Let's take a seat. Take a whiff of pure. Temperate and refreshing air here. The atmosphere inviting and silent. creativity here, echoing in our digital dreams as we cast our eyes outward, our sight as the horizon beyond gradually fades. The emergence of nightscapes and spaces make their presence known, become ever more prevalent. As we journey in the presence of solitude, wonder, and pure silence. Here, with Falcon's Frontier. heart and focus of both solitude, silence, and reflection as we try to connect to the verse, connect to these digital worlds, bring them into our imagination and into our consciousness. Another impressive note, we can just, there's kind of a windbreak in the C1, as we can see. Just close up the ship now. Double doors closed. Let's pan the way round. Hover quads locked. Let's conclude the session and resume continuing discovery. Our journey, and all that's left to say is Fox Frontier will leave you now with the sight of this symmetrical view looking out at the C1's window at the Pyro 4's night sky. This is Focus Frontier wishing you a splendid, inspirational onward journey. Until next time, goodbye for now.